Well, my brother stayed a long time. It's now 7 o'clock at night. And I had a little dinner and enjoyed talking with him. I'm still putting on more of this. This little red thing here, boy, could I do with a laser situation? Wouldn't that be something? And then I don't know how many of you have the chin hairs and the hairs everywhere, okay? But I just can't believe, I just think it's so unfair. All the stuff that we have to deal with as women. It's just, and the money we have to put in towards, you know, if we want to look nice and all the makeup and what it costs to keep your hair. And the guys don't have to do that, folks. So anyway, I just think the government should substitute women for that kind of stuff. Sorry. And the ones that aren't going to wear makeup shouldn't get to have any. And don't lie. Okay, so this is, I used to sell this. This is, what is it? Senegence. And they sold eyeshadow. They sell everything. But I did marketing. And so, what is it called? No. Oh, wow. What was it called? Multilevel, multi-tier marketing or something. I did Premier Jewelry. I don't know if any of you know that. I mean, not about me, but if any of you know Premier Jewelry. They closed last year, which was devastating to so many of the people that have been with them for years. And it was their great income, you know. So I got involved just because I like jewelry. And my friend invited me to a party and I wanted all the jewelry. And I was buying all kinds of jewelry, and I go, why don't I just become a salesperson? And it was real cheap to get in. I can't even remember how cheap. This is called Candlelight. I don't know if any of you, this is called Shadow Sense. Other two things that I love are the new Thrive cosmetic pencils for shadow. And what are they? Let's see. This is called Sandie Joe Infinity Waterproof Eyeshadow something. Eyeshadow, I can't read it. So this is called, what's this one? This one I kind of just put on. Sometimes you can just wear this one. This is called Blythe, and it's it's very, very light. But it goes on really easy, and I kind of like to put it around the top. And at my age, and they also have a nice blending thing on the other end. But at my age, I really don't think shimmers are the way to go, but that's just my personal opinion, not anybody, you know, not anybody else. So let's just say that. And so that's how I feel about that. And there's so many people online that talk about, you know, beauty after 50, that kind of stuff. And let me say this, I don't know, you can just go crazy. So here is the, this one is called, I think it's called Sandie Joe. I have contacts and still have a hard time, but this is just a little bit of color, like darker, but with the you know, neutral shades. I think this is just a little something to highlight. But what I love is how easy it goes on, and then you've got this wonderful blender, okay? And you know what? You don't have to be perfect with this stuff. You really don't. You just blend the baby in, right? And yeah, and you get yourself a little color. So I like that, but I think less is more at my age. Some women wear a whole lot, and I just think it's, I just think we need to have a little less when we get older. I think it helps to make us look more youthful. Again, just my opinion. if you're, the creases is what kills me, okay? This is the part that I find very difficult to work with. And I have both dry shadows, like, I'm sorry, powder, dry, listen to that, and creams. And I have both powder blushes and creams. So you just never know. You just never know. So anyway, I love this mirror. This has the detachable magnifying mirror. I really don't need it, but what I love is that it has a USB charge, no batteries, and I can really do pretty well with it when I use this. Now, the other thing that I want to tell you about is somebody mentioned that once you always want to put lotion, if you've got eyes like mine that are wrinkled under here and creasy, you always want to put a lot of, not a lot, but lotion, like even Vaseline, not Vaseline, it's I don't know, it's made by Vaseline, and it's, and it's what? It's a white lotion, moisturizer. And I put that under there, and then I take some setting spray, and I dab it, and I just dab, dab, dab. And this helps set, and I never put, you know how the young girls put powder there to bake their shadows and bake everything. You can't do that when you've got wrinkles, or wow, you're gonna look really bad. So I just dab and let it dry. I have one of these little darlings that I can do that. See, quickly, quickly, quickly. And then that helps set it, and it's not so bad. Okay, the other little ditty I want to do is I didn't do this is what I use, e.l.f., and it's the cream. And I love using this palette. And what's it called? Cream Blush Palette. I can't read, folks. Anyway, that's it. It's pretty messy. And I don't care. I try to go up this way and not, because my face has fallen. So you don't want to go lower, okay? Because then you want to make your cheekbones look like they haven't fallen yet. Now, nobody can do that at my age if they have my skin. And then the hard part is that I hate is I have all the crevices from the bad acne I had. And I'm telling you, I will put a picture in here. And it was one of the most devastating things that ever happened to me. Because and it was called adult stress acne. I went over to Canada where Sandie was, met this guy, their accountant, at her wedding, and he really liked me, took a fancy to me, and I'll put a picture in here. And I went back and forth to see him and be with Sandie and them, I would say 4 or 5 times, and then we got engaged. And I left my uncle's practice in Kansas City and moved to Canada. And that was a huge experience. So what happened, I'm going to contour with, love this. This is also, what is this? Smashbox. And this is just for contouring, okay, and highlighting. So what I do is use this one here. And I usually just go underneath my blush. And I'll show you that. Look and see how my hair drives me nuts. Anyway, so when I was getting ready to leave him because he had an alcohol problem, I was getting a little nervous. And so I told him I was going to go and visit my family. because I was afraid to tell him I was leaving because I didn't know if he'd try to keep me there. I just didn't know what he would do. That's kind of my MO, man. I just split. I know that's not the right way to do it, but that was my MO back then. And I'll tell you another story about that. But anyway, so I started getting acne, and it was very large cystic acne, and you couldn't pop them. There was, I know that sounds terrible, but you couldn't. A little bit of highlight here. See how your skin just, oh, look, gross. Boing. What I wouldn't do for a facelift. But anyway, I got out of there, and it took me like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days to come home. And as I was leaving, it got worse. And so now I'll do the eyebrows. And I use the same thing I've used forever, which is sepia, Avita sepia. So it's a lot lighter, and it's probably not the right thing to use. And I have the nice thick eyebrows, but they were thinning, and that's why I wanted her to do them. But wow, too bad. So I'm trying to go back to what I was saying. And I worked for doctors here for years. So my doctor that I loved and trusted, I worked for him for quite a while. It was my first job. I loved him. Anyway, he helped me out with my face, and he said, you need to go on Accutane, which Accutane was just coming out, was pretty dangerous. And all the things they say are true. Like, it's very dangerous. This is my lip liner that I use, LA Girl Ultimate Intense Stay Auto Liner. Anyway, I couldn't work because, do you know, when I went out, which I hardly ever went out in public, I moved back and stayed with my brother, Craig, that you met, and his wife, Terry. She was pregnant with their first and only child, and I tried to get myself together, going to the doctors, taking care of that. So when I took the Accutane, this is called, the outside border is called your vermilion border. And I lost, my lips just totally peeled away. All the skin on the palms of my hands left. My eyes got so dry that I had to keep drops in constantly. And it's a dangerous drug. And so they make you sign that you're on birth control or you won't get pregnant. That's one of the huge problems, is that such severe birth defects. And I had to have blood work done every 2 weeks because it can hurt your organs. And then and I hate to say how painful it was, but the thing that killed me was that I couldn't imagine. I was 38, around that age, 38, and I had, grown up, been through life. But for these young kids in school that get this kind of cystic acne, and just the regular bumps and stuff are hard. And when you're a teenager, it's all about you, and how you look is critical to your self-confidence. And I can't imagine these poor kids going through this. So and mine cleared up. I only had to take one round of it. Before it got better, it got worse. And so, and they would, you know, they would open and ooze when they'd break, because you couldn't touch them. But they would break open in the middle of the night, and the pain, because the pressure, because they were cystic. And so when they opened, the pain was incredible. And let me tell you, when I hear about monkeypox, it gives me PTSD. I know that my cystic acne was not anything like monkeypox, but it brings that back to me. You know, how when I went out in public, the little kids would point and say, "Mommy, she has boo-boos all over her face." And my mom, every time I would go see her and walk in the house, she would cry. You know, and I had a doctor. I was working in the back doing transcription part-time, and he fired me. He was so uncomfortable with how I looked. Now he couldn't do that, but so it was devastating. And I got so much closer to Christ. He's always been my anchor, I'll tell you that. Now this is the stain. I'm going to tell you what it is and what color. Now, you know, so when I lost that vermilion border on my lips, they've never really been the same since. They look weird, and it's okay, but anyway, kind of pretty. Anyways, I got better. I can't believe my scarring isn't worse than it is, but it still has always bothered me, but we all deal with what we've got to deal with. Well, anyways, what I was going to tell you is they were going to take Accutane off the market because of the real horrifying side effects of babies that were born if the mother was doing Accutane. And I was going to march and go to Congress and talk to them because I felt so relieved, and I just felt it was a miracle that Accutane worked. And I've never had a problem. I've had like one or two once in a while, but never again. And oh my gosh. So anyways, it was really tough. Okay, so I use a liner. This is NC. I don't even know. But when you're older, I put it underneath the eyelid and line that underneath to give me some definition, but I don't put it on top because it closes, your eyes get smaller, so you don't want to make them look smaller. I also love these charcoal, I get them on Amazon because they work so much better than the Q-tips, because the Q-tips, the cotton stuff comes off and then you have it go into your eyeball, you know, stuff like that. So anyway, where am I at? I also use these things to dermaplane your skin and also get the little hairs off. Sometimes I feel like I look like my face is, you know, growing a forest. It's just not fair, guys. Okay, one more thing here. Let's see. Okay, it's this. Just Maybelline. I have some cheap stuff. Just take this shadow, powdered shadow, and put it underneath. Yeah. And if your line is uneven, you just take these and you just make it nicer, you know? So there you go with that. So I think it was pretty much like 8 months that I was stayed out of the public limelight. and dealt with the acne and trying to figure out what I was going to do, try to get a job, and try to go back to Canada to get my stuff, and try to cut it off with him in a nice way. So it was hard. I'm going to close the video for today. Remember, be good to yourself, be good to others, and God will bless your efforts. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time.